with your host, Jaden Miller.
Good day, and welcome to Think About It with Jaden Miller. I am your host, Jaden Miller. Thank you for joining me today. Hey, please check out my website at www.jadenmiller.com. That's JAYDENMILLER.com. Please like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and like, comment, and follow on your favorite podcast platform. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Google Podcast, Castbox, iHeartRadio, Audrey, Podvine, Amazon Podcast, and so many more. And so again, thank you all for joining me on Think About It with Jaden Miller. Let's jump right into this. A lot of stuff happening in the world, of course. And I'm just going to talk about a couple of things before I get to the one issue that I really want to talk about today. But just to recap some of the headlines from today, Vladimir Putin threatens further harsh responses after massive Russian strikes. So Russia's a little upset because there was this major bridge. It's the Crimean bridge that was blasted to smithereens, and that really irked Vladimir Putin and Russia because it sent a really strong message. Now, the Ukraine has not taken responsibility for the Crimean bridge blast, but Russian President Vladimir Putin has accused Ukrainian special services of the weekend attack. He said Monday's strikes were in response, but Ukrainian intelligence says the attacks had been planned since early last week. So Russia has been getting pounded by the Ukraine, and so they launched 84 cruise missiles at the Ukraine, and it was these missiles were launched at critical infrastructure facilities, mainly handling the energy supply, were struck, leaving several regions without power. At least 11 people died and 64 were injured in the attacks. The Ukraine will keep fighting. Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba said Ukraine will continue to liberate territories despite the attacks on Monday. Last week, Russian forces had begun to intensify their strikes, launching missile attacks on residential buildings in the southern city of Zaporizhia that killed at least 43 civilians over a period of a week, according to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Karim Ahmad Khan, the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, said he believes that there will be justice for war crimes committed during Russia's war in Ukraine. He said he is extremely concerned by civilian deaths following numerous Russian strikes today, and said that the International Criminal Court will be conducting a criminal investigation. Where our president, Joe Biden, spoke with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and pledged advanced air defense systems to Ukraine. There has to be international condemnation for the Russian attacks, and there is. And I'm really happy that the Ukrainian forces will continue to fight back against Russia. This has just been really too much. And so I'm really glad that Karim Ahmad Khan, the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, said that there will be a day of reckoning. He went on to say that international law is going to ensure that there will be a day of reckoning in Ukraine and other situations where any bully, any individual with a gun or with a missile or with the capacity to inflict terror on the most vulnerable of our next generations will realize that the law is there. And so I am so happy that the International Criminal Court is taking a look at this as well. So I think that's just a tragic situation. A Texas police officer who shot and wounded a teenager who had been sitting in his car eating a McDonald's hamburger has been fired. San Antonio officer James Brennan was fired after shooting Eric Cantu in a fast food restaurant, McDonald's, parking lot. Brennan had responded to an unrelated disturbance at the fast food restaurant when he saw Cantu sitting inside the car and believed that he had evaded him a day earlier. Now, if you haven't seen this video, you should go to YouTube or wherever and take a look at it. Again, this happened in San Antonio, Texas. All right. So you have this 17-year-old that is sitting in his car. The police officer believes that this is the car that evaded him the day before. Okay. So he opens the car door, startling this 17-year-old who is, it looks like he might have been eating a cheeseburger. The wrapper looks like it's a McDonald's cheeseburger. And then so the kid responds. The 17-year-old responds. He doesn't hit anybody. It's not that kind of response. What it is he notices that somebody's opening his door. He's shocked. And so he puts the car in drive. Well, actually, he puts the car in reverse and then puts it in drive. And the police officer just opens up, just starts shooting at this guy. It was just utterly ridiculous. Now, again, as a former police officer, I really strive not to criticize police, in their roles, because especially if you are not there and you didn't see it and there's other circumstances that go around. But from this one, you can clearly see that this kid is just sitting in the car eating a cheeseburger and the police officer just opens fire. Maybe the police officer was startled at his response, but the thing is, you're a professional. When you walk up to a vehicle, you should be prepared. Okay. When I was in the police academy many years ago, they taught us these three things: distance, shielding, and movement. Okay. This officer had no distance. He didn't have backup. There was no shielding. And it's really sad. So the kid had a cheeseburger in his hand. He was no threat. There was nothing. Even the police chief in San Antonio, Texas, said that there was nothing that justified that shooting. So this 17-year-old is hospitalized in stable condition. He was initially charged with evading police and aggravated assault. However, the district attorney has decided not to pursue those charges, which is probably a smart thing, because all the kid had to do is to take a jury trial. If they did try him, and he would have been found not guilty, right away. That's just a really callous use of police powers. And again, if you have not seen that, you should check it out on video. It's really sad. That kid could have been killed. Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville made some really ugly comments the other day. U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville of Alabama remained silent Monday amid criticism of racist remarks he made at a Nevada rally on Saturday. In a speech at a rally for Nevada Republican Senate candidate Adam Laxalt and gubernatorial candidate Joe Lombardo, hosted by former President Donald Trump, the freshman senator accused Democrats of being pro-crime. This is what he says. They want crime, he said. They want crime because they want to take over what you got. They want to control what you have. They want reparations because they think the people that do the crime are owed that. And then he says, bullshit. Okay? For those of you that don't know anything about reparations, generally they are seen as efforts to repair the physical, psychological, and social damage that slavery inflicted on Black Americans. The remarks drew widespread condemnation from Democrats over the weekend. In a video posted to Twitter Sunday evening, former United States Senator Doug Jones, a Democrat who Tuberville defeated in 2020, said this racist rant at a MAGA rally has to be called out. It's this white nationalist appeal that harkens back to a really dark time, Jones said. A dark time in Alabama, a dark time in the United States, a really dark time for this country. Well, Tuberville's office did not respond to two requests for comment. A message seeking comment from the National Republican Senate Committee was unsuccessful this morning. John Wall, the chairman of the Alabama Republican Party, said, "I did not watch the rally, so I don't know the exact context of Senator Tuberville's remarks." But he goes on to defend him, so you don't know what his remarks are. But yet you say, however, and this is again John Wall, the chairman of the Alabama Republican Party, says, "However, Coach Tuberville is well known for his work with people of all backgrounds, both on the field and off. His record and respect of others speaks volumes about his integrity and character." Well, Mr. Tuberville needs to learn how to control his mouth then, okay? So if you can talk about Mr. Wall, if you can talk about his integrity and character, okay, that's fine. Okay, and perhaps he has worked with people of all backgrounds, but you'll see from the next topic that I talk about that actually means nothing. And, it really incenses me when people say that, that, oh, well, he's worked with black people and Latino people and Asian people, so that must mean that he's okay. So as a reminder, slave masters during slavery would rape black slaves, okay? So, now they may have had a disregard for black people, specifically black women, but, they had enough, desire for them that they would take them sexually, okay? And then have children with them, okay? So let's just say that, the slave masters worked very well with people of all backgrounds, on and off the field, and in the bedroom or in the slave chambers, or in the shacks that they lived in, okay? So, I think that's absolutely ridiculous. If the coach said this, and he clearly did because he's recorded saying so, well, I call him a coach. He's really a senator. Now he's a senator. But by saying that, really, that it's just really ugly. And that's why I said he needs to learn how to control his mouth. When you're speaking in public, you have got to be very, very careful what you say. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to appeal to a certain segment of people. Okay, I get that. Okay, but as a senator from Alabama, you don't represent one segment of people. You don't represent just the MAGA crowd. You represent black Americans that live in that state too, or black Alabamans that live in that state too. And so to go on this rant and use "they want reparations" because they think the people that do the crime are owed that is a bit ridiculous. And even your comment is a bit ridiculous. And that makes me really wonder how anyone could have really voted to elect you a senator of a state. Absolutely ridiculous, Senator Tuberville, and unfortunately you're not up for re-election, but hopefully people in Alabama won't forget, this really ugly, thing that you said. See, when you can say something like this in public, that means that you say stuff like that in private, okay? Senator Tommy Tuberville, if you feel so comfortable talking about a certain segment of people in public, and I can believe that there were probably a smattering of black people that might have even been in the audience. Certainly there were people of other races that were there, but you could care less. You just say what you want to say. So yeah, you might have been a great football coach at one time, okay? However, the fact remains, that there are certain things that we don't say. And then when we do say them, they come not just from the mouth, Senator Tuberville, but they come deep within your heart. All right, that is Senator Tommy Tuberville saying stupid things. But I really wanted to get to my real topic today and to talk about what's going on in Los Angeles. So if you weren't aware, the Los Angeles City Council president, and her name is Nury Martinez, said some god-awful things back in 2021. These things were recorded secretly, unfortunately. But again, this is why it's so important that you be careful what you say, but that also you don't say things ugly, regardless of if it's in private or public, but that when you do say those things, that those things don't just come from the mouth, okay? These things come from the heart. So, Nury Martinez, the Los Angeles City Council president, resigned from her top role today after being exposed for making racist comments about her colleague's black son in a leaked recording. So Ms. Martinez, in a statement, announced she would be stepping down from her position as president, but did not say she would resign her council seat. And I'm sure she's going to have to after all of this ugliness. Nury Martinez is a Democrat, and she came under fire after a Los Angeles Times report on yesterday revealed she made derogatory remarks about fellow council member Mike Bonin's son, including calling the toddler, and my Spanish is not that good, but I'll do my best, ese changuito, which means that little monkey in Spanish. Well, this is what she said. She said, "I take responsibility for what I said, and there are no excuses for those comments. I'm so sorry." She goes on to say, "I sincerely apologize to the people I hurt with my words." And I haven't even told you all of her words. I'm going to get into that in a minute. To my colleagues, their families, and especially to Mike, Sean, and your son. As a mother, I know better, and I am sorry. I am truly ashamed. I know this is the result of my own actions. I'm sorry to your entire family for putting you through this. As someone who believes deeply in the empowerment of communities of color, I recognize my comments undercut that goal. Going forward, reconciliation will be my priority. I have already reached out to many of my black colleagues and other black leaders to express my regret in order for us to heal. I ask for forgiveness from my colleagues and from the residents of this city that I love so much. In the end, it is not my apologies that matter most. It will be the actions I take from this day forward. I hope that you will give me the opportunity to make amends. Therefore, effective immediately, I am resigning as president of the Los Angeles City Council. So this is what was said in the recording. So it was Nury Martinez, and she was with other Latino leaders. All right, so they were having some kind of a meeting, and then she was talking about fellow city councilman Mike Bonin, okay? And so in the recording, she says that Bonin's kid, who was not even 3 years old at the time, needs a beat down and is being raised like a little white kid by his white father. She goes on to say, "Let me take him around the corner and then I'll bring him back." What does that mean? Take him around the corner and then I'll bring him back. So you want to take a 2-year-old around the corner, okay, and beat him? She also called the child su negrito, which is a derogatory Spanish word for a black person, shame, and referred to Bonin as a little bitch. Oh my gosh. Nury Martinez, all of this ugliness coming out of your mouth. I mean, just really a shame. Not that I'm shocked, but it's just very, very shameful. All right. So let me go on. So these were the council members that were in on the meeting. All right. So it was a conversation between Nury Martinez, council members Gil Cedillo and Kevin De Leon, and Los Angeles County Federation of Labor President Ron Herrera. Much of the conversation focused on maps proposed by the city's redistricting commission and the council members' frustration with them, as well as the need to ensure that heavily Latino districts did not lose economic assets in the once-in-a-decade process. Of course, this was written in the Los Angeles Times. The council members then discussed Councilmember Mike Bonin, a white man. In clips of the leaked audio posted by the Times, Nury Martinez is heard recounting a conversation and says, "Bonin thinks he's fucking black." According to the Times, Martinez says Bonin appeared with his son on a float in a Martin Luther King Jr. Day parade, and he handled his young black son as though he were an accessory. This is what Martinez says. The boy is 8 years old, according to a Facebook post by his father. Well, I don't know how you make the jump from, I guess depending on when this was actually stated. But anyway, the Times reported that Martinez also said of Bonin's child, Perichi Changuito, or he's like a monkey. Wow. This is really something. In the leaked audio, Martinez can be heard speaking about Bonin's son allegedly misbehaving while at the parade by hanging from a railing of their float, saying, "This kid is going to tip us over. They're raising him like a little white kid," Martinez said in the audio released by the Times. "I was like, this kid needs a beat down. Let me take him around the corner and then I'll bring him back." Wow. So it seems as though part of the audio recording, the secret audio recording, took place back in 2021. Wow. I mean, I'm just shocked. Bonin is gay. He and his husband, Sean Arian, had asked the city council to remove Martinez as council president and said she needs to resign from office. In a joint statement, Mike Bonin and his husband said, "We are appalled, angry, and absolutely disgusted that Nury Martinez attacked our son with horrific racist slurs and talked about her desire to physically harm him. It's vile, abhorrent, and utterly disgraceful," the couple said in the joint statement. They said that they were equally angry and disgusted by the ugly racist comments about our son from Kevin De Leon and Ron Herrera, who should also resign their posts, and by the tacit acceptance of those remarks from Jill Cedillo. Wow. The California-Hawaii State Conference of the NAACP and the Los Angeles branch of the organization are calling for the resignation of all council members involved in that conversation and asking the city to investigate, quote, "how far the racial animus has impacted hiring and other decisions of the city council," they said in a joint statement. "We will not sit idly by and allow our elected representatives to engage in these kinds of disgusting and racist behaviors," said Latricia Mitchell, president of the Los Angeles branch of the NAACP. Councilmember Nithya Raman, who according to the Times was also referenced in the leaked audio, released a statement to CNN calling for resignations. "Racist, homophobic, and deeply cruel statements like these are disqualifying for elected office in Los Angeles. The people who made them should resign. If they don't, I'll vote to remove them from council leadership at the very first opportunity." Wow. Let me read to you the statement, the family statement from Mike Bonin and his husband. It says, "We are appalled, angry, and absolutely disgusted that Nury Martinez attacked our son with horrific racist slurs and talked about her desire to physically harm him. It's vile, abhorrent, and utterly disgraceful. The city council needs to remove her as council president immediately, and she needs to resign from office. Any parent reading her comments will know she is unfit for public office. We love our son, a beautiful, joyful child, and our family is hurting today. No child should ever be subjected to such racist, mean, and dehumanizing comments, especially from a public official. It is painful to know he will someday read these comments. We are equally angry and disgusted by the ugly racist comments about our son from Kevin De Leon and Ron Herrera, who should also resign their post, and by the tacit acceptance of those remarks from Gil Cedillo. It hurts that one of our son's earliest encounters with overt racism comes from some of the most powerful public officials in Los Angeles. As parents of a black child, we condemn the entirety of the recorded conversation, which displayed a repeated and vulgar anti-black sentiment and coordinated effort to weaken black political representation in Los Angeles. The conversation revealed several layers of contempt for the people of Los Angeles and a cynical, ugly desire to divide the city rather than serve it." Well, here's another councilwoman, Monica Rodriguez. She released a statement. She says, "I condemn the vile and reprehensible acts of my colleagues, and yesterday instructed the chief legislative analyst to draft a motion calling for the removal of the council president. I will introduce that motion tomorrow," meaning today, Monday, "so that we can begin the work of healing and uniting our communities. You know, I'm disappointed. This is Think About It with Jaden Miller. Please check out my website at www.jadenmiller.com. Please like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and like, comment, and follow on your favorite podcast platform. I'm really, really just, gosh, I am just really saddened by these comments. By this clearly Latina woman who I have no doubt, you know, at least specifically her people have, you know, dealt with, you know, racism and prejudice and bias and all of that ugly stuff. I'm really, really saddened and disappointed by this. You know, Martinez also derided Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon after the group pondered whether Gascon would endorse Cedillo in his reelection campaign against Eunice Hernandez. Nury Martinez says, F that guy, he's with the blacks. What? Huh? What is all this anti-black sentiment coming from the city council? You know, and specifically some of the Latino members of the city council. Wow. I mean, just shocking, the things people will say. So here she is, she's the president of the Los Angeles City Council. Los Angeles is the second largest city in this nation, okay? She's the president of the city council, and she's making these kinds of remarks, okay? See, you know, gosh, people. You know, you just can't say stuff today like that. I mean, you never know who's recording you, but it's not just the fact that you shouldn't say stuff because you could be recorded, but you shouldn't be saying that kind of stuff anyway. I mean, my gosh. Wow. Here she is. She actually said this about a black member of the council. She said the conversation, you know, after she said the ugly stuff about George Gascon, about fuck that guy, he's with the blacks. The conversation steered toward Councilmember Mark Ridley Thomas, who has been indicted on federal corruption charges. As Martinez said, Controller Ron Galperin would decide whether Ridley Thomas still gets paid during his suspension. You need to go talk to that white guy, Martinez said. It's not us. It's the white members on this council that will motherfuck you in a heartbeat. So, I mean, it seems like she's got animus towards whites and blacks and, you know, to some Hispanics as well, to Latinos as well. But, you know, the comments made about, you know, Mike Bonin, you know, this city council member, I mean, that's just wrong, you know. And again, you know, we can't cast this wide net on, you know, Latinos and say that, you know, well, because in her role, she's not representing Latino people. She's representing herself and those 3 or 4 other people that just happen to be Latino that were sitting there saying ugly things too, or not saying anything because silence is consent. You know, nobody spoke up and said, oh, wait a minute, Nury Martinez, you're a Latina woman, okay? And there are African Americans on this city council and in this city, and there's a woman that's running for mayor of Los Angeles. How is it that you can let these words come out of your mouth? See, somebody should have condemned it right away. Somebody should have stopped her right then and there, but no, that's not what happened. Okay? So that's why, again, it's so important that you really think about what you want to say before you say it. But it just says to me that she has, and again, this is her. She is not a representative of the Latino community. Okay? She's not. You know, she is a council person. All right, who represents herself when she makes these ugly, stupid, racist comments. All right. But, you know, it just goes to show that we really don't know the ugliness that's within somebody. So, I mean, whatever age this kid was, whether he was 2 years old or 8 years old, there's some discrepancy about his age. But whatever it is, she wanted to take him around the corner and beat him. Huh? That comes out of your mouth, city council president. You want to beat a kid, okay, because he's not acting, because he's acting white. You want to beat this kid, okay? So what? He should be acting black? And then what would that have been? Okay, would that have been more acceptable to you, or should he have been acting in a Latino way? Would that have made you feel a little better about him? But all of this other stuff, he's with the blacks, and you're trying to dilute black political power in the city. See, all that power. It corrupts. It's so corrupting. So now what she wants to do is she wants to reach out to her black colleagues, so that we can begin the healing. See, there would be no need to reach out to your black colleagues. There would be no need to reach out or to heal if you just wouldn't have those thoughts and wouldn't say them in the first place. Okay? So that's why our leaders, or our so-called leaders, you just have to be real careful, because there can be so much ugliness in their hearts. And again, it's not what comes out of your mouth, okay? It's what's deep within your heart. And so for her, the mouth was the vessel for the ugliness to come out. But the ugliness resides deep within her. And the same thing to these other guys too, because they sat there and listened to that, They did not say nope. They didn't say, hey, this is wrong. Councilman De Leon just sat there. Councilmember Gil Cedillo just sat there. LA County Federation of Labor President Ron Herrera, you all didn't speak up and say, you know what, this is not right. African Americans, those are our colleagues. Those are our brothers and sisters in the struggle. Okay. But no, you sat there and allowed her and joined in the conversation. So I think you all should resign your post as well, because how can you go to work every day representing the people of Los Angeles, okay, with this ugliness residing in your heart? It's just really sad that even still today, that we let racism and prejudice, bias, discrimination, all of those different things still rule our hearts and minds and come out of our mouths. It's not even just that, it's by our actions, So, and then the thing that always is mind-boggling for me, and I want you to think about this, because this is Think About It with J.D. Miller, is that there are so many colors on this earth, okay? But let's even look at the animal kingdom. So many people, including these crazy racist people in the world, they'll have black dogs and white dogs and brown dogs and maybe even some reddish colored hair dogs. I had a golden retriever that was red. You have birds of all different colors. There are cats that are multicolored, But when it comes to human beings, we can get so divided over the color of our skin. We won't discriminate against dogs. We love a white dog or a black dog, But human beings, we love a black jaguar, or ones that have spots. The jaguars have spots, or the leopards have spots, I forget. We love lions and tigers. Gosh, there are so many colors. And I'm just talking about living beings that just so happen to be animals. We love them. But our own humankind, we will be ugly, we will be discriminatory, we will be biased, we will be prejudiced, we will be racist against another human being simply because of the color of their skin. That is what makes me sad. That is what makes me disappointed. And that's why, gosh, we need to choose leaders, who have demonstrated, sincerely demonstrated care and concern for all people. And that's why we should stop electing these career politicians. I've always said that the best people to run government our contractors, our plumbers, our teachers. Okay, those are the best people to run government. Okay, because they come into it knowing a community, having worked with their hands, having worked with children, having worked with people, but we have these career politicians, these millionaires and billionaires that have had no distinct contact, where they've had to work with people from different nationalities and different communities and different, sexual orientations or what have you. They've lived in their ivory tower all their lives, okay? Or they forgot how it was to be out on the street. We need to stop electing these people and put people in there that are street people. People that come from a background where they've had to work hard. Farmers would be great people to run government because they know how it is. They know what hard work is, okay? But these people that go and get their nails done and drive these fancy cars and, wear these special, perfumes and colognes and wear these $2,000 and $3,000 suits, these people don't represent us. They represent another part of society, the part of society that agrees with them and that allows certain types of politics and certain types of policies, okay, to continue to fester, to continue to go on in this country. We need to get rid of them. So again, Los Angeles is in an uproar, and it should be. I'm so glad that Nury Martinez has resigned because they were going to kick her butt out of there anyway, and she should have been kicked out. And I'm glad that people are coming to the streets to say no. But I'm also glad that her Latino colleagues, okay, the ones that think fairly and properly and understand how racism and prejudice affects all of us people of color, okay, I'm so happy that they've come out also and told her that you need to go. Because, those comments, they could be seen as representing them. They could be seen as representing the Latino community. They don't. So I'm glad that they're also coming out and distancing themselves from her and calling her out on her racist remarks. What a world we live in. Gosh, people, just stop. Just do the right thing. It's so simple. Really, it is. And that is simply this. Martin Luther King said it. If you believe in Jesus, he said it. So many people that have come before us have said, you know what? Just love. Don't look at a person or judge a person by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. It's so simple to do that. Just look beyond the surface. Really, look beyond the surface and go down to the root. And that's where you'll really find what's going on in a person. And so that's why I say, what's coming out of these people's mouths is one thing because they speak with forked tongues. Okay. But what's deep in their heart, that's what truly is in their being. And I'm so glad that Nury Martinez, that it finally came out. This is Jaden Miller. Thank you for listening to my podcast today. I'm so disgusted, but thank you for listening to my podcast today. Check out my website at www.jadenmiller.com, JAYDENMILLER.com. Please like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and like, comment, and follow on your favorite platform. Let me run through them again. That's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Castbox, iHeartRadio, Podvine, Audrey, and Amazon. Thank you guys for listening again. This is Jaden Miller. I will look forward to the next episode of Think About It with Jaden Miller. You guys have a fabulous, fabulous day. And you know what? Think before you speak. And if there is any ugliness in your heart, find a way to get rid of it, because not only is it damaging to others, but it's also damaging to you. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Think About It with Jaden Miller. Don't forget to like and subscribe to his YouTube channel, and like and follow on your favorite podcast platform.